Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every fortnight we get together to talk about movies, TV, and online content and help you answer the question, what the hell is Coco Melon? I'm your host, Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Why?
Why? You posted about it, I don't know.
Do you not know what it is?
No.
Oh my god.
It's just an adorable baby, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Bring up a video and watch a fucking Coco Melon video and do a copyright live reacts or something right now. It's the most evil shit I've ever seen in my life.
Unbelievable. All right. A lot of things to talk about in today's show. We'll be going into our watch history, covering a little bit of news, and doing our top threes. But Dylan, I don't know if you remember this, but you lost the Oscar predictions. And as such, only just, but still, as part of that, you need to watch something that I pick. Now, in the past, you know, I've been pretty mean. I've made you watch like Holmes and Watson. That's not a very good film. Made you watch.
I completely forgot about that. To be until you said
Limitless.
I really could not have remembered I watched that movie. But yep.
Yeah, you had to watch Limitless last time because you lost the Emmys.
Love that.
So I thought I'd be generous and pick something that you might actually like. So there's a film that constantly comes up on my feed from our associates over at the Super Network. A film they really like, and constantly they've watched it like a bunch of times so far this year. So before we do our Emmy productions, I would like you to go watch the 2019 American psychological horror thriller film, The Fanatic, directed by Fred Durst, starring John Travolta.
Sure.
Yep.
Where's that? Other than found in the bin?
It's currently available for rental on YouTube or Google Play.
Okay, that's disappointing.
So, you know, we've got like 6 months before the Emmys, so you'll forget, and then right before the Emmys, you'll probably watch the film.
Okay,
and by then it'll be on some service.
If people don't know what this film is, the description is: a rabid film fan stalks his favorite action hero and destroys the star's life. It has a meta score of 18 and a user score of 4.1 on IMDb.
Yeah, but...
And Fred Durst, in case people don't know, is the... what do we call him? A well-known rock star? Is that
Forgotten rock star.
Is that forgotten rock star, I guess? Yeah, of old Limp
Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. Keep rolling, and
yep, you'll put that movie on, and it'll keep rolling.
Yeah, there you go. I was trying to think of a good joke. I'm gonna get that. That's fine. So that's what that is. So cool. Yep.
Thanks to our friends over at Super Network for recommending that one. All right, let's jump into our watch history. Dylan, you checked out Those Who Wish Me Dead, the new film starring Angelina Jolie, directed by
Taylor
Sheridan. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. So reviewed this, explosionup.com, gave it a 6, I believe, from memory. So this is one of those ones that I think I watched it right after the last episode came out, so it's been, it's like right on that cusp, so I'm having to think. The film stars Angelina Jolie in her return to thriller action franchise, I guess. You know, it's been a while since she's done anything other than appear in a Maleficent film every couple of years or whatever. She's about to get back into the acting seat, it appears, a bit more heavily, but and also co-stars Nicholas Hoult and old mate what's his name? Hold on. Littlefinger. Aidan Gillen. Yeah. And well, really, it's funny because the star of the movie is actually this kid played by Finn Little. And the plot is his father has got mixed up or done something, they don't really tell you what, to upset a major political figure who basically hires hitman to come after and kill his father. Stuff goes wrong. The kid has to run away. He's in the middle of Montana. Yeah, it says here Montana. They're in Montana. Big forest area or whatever out there. The kid runs into Angelina Jolie's character, who is a I can't remember the official name. They do give it in the film. Like, she's a firefighter basically, but like with a focus of like a forest firefighter, not like because they live out there,
like
not
a
like
park ranger firefighter.
Yeah, like that sort of thing. And she's having a lot of I guess you would call it. They never specifically say PTSD, but it's very obviously like sort of PTSD thing where there was a fire sometime before the plot of this movie starts, and she was in charge of it, and she made some things went wrong because the fire is a wild beast, and some people died, and she's sort of blaming it on herself. So now she's being put on fire watch duty in one of those big towers, basically like the plot of the video game Firewatch, where someone's just sitting up there having to watch for smoke in the distance. Anyway, she comes across this kid, two hitmen soon are hot on the kid's chase, which is Nicholas Hoult and Aidan Gillen playing these hitmen after the kid, and she has to put up a fight. And the two hitmen decide, well, as a way to distract local law enforcement and draw them out, we're just gonna set the whole forest on fire because we're evil hitmen who don't give a fuck about anything. So that's basically it. So Taylor Sheridan, if you've watched his past few movies, they all sort of have a similar theme, which is they're like these neo-Western type things, and the environment in which they're set is a big part of them. So Hell or High Water, he wrote that one, he didn't direct it though. But, it's like set in the South or whatever, like Texas somewhere, I think. And, it's got this very deserty, dry feeling to it and everything like that. Wind River, which is the one he did start directing and wrote that as well. Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen, that's like set at very wintry landscape. So, and then this one obviously has got this fire and forest. So he has like this thing for including the environment to be a big part of it in this neo-Western sort of thing. I'm going to say straight away that it very much feels like a Taylor Sheridan film. So if you like his films and his type of stuff, then you can watch this. As I said, I gave it 6, so it's okay. I definitely feel like it's just his weakest film so far. It's very much let down by the characters, and they're just not as interesting or as engaging as his previous films. And I feel like a lot of the people are potentially sort of miscast. Like Angelina Jolie's fine, and it feels like she's trying really hard to do more than what's on the paper for her character, but they introduce a lot of elements for her, but then she doesn't get enough time to really do anything interesting with them. Having Nicholas Hoult and Aidan Gillen as hitmen kind of felt weird because they both feel sort of wasted in that role. Like they really can't do much with them, and you're like, okay, but you're expecting more from them because they're, well, especially like Nicholas Hoult, he's a well-known, he's a big star these days. So you're kind of expecting more from him. John Berthnall's in this, just playing John Berthnall. He's like the sheriff of the town or whatever. So it's like, he's fine, I guess. The best part of the movie is when it gets down to the last half or whenever it is, when the fire actually kicks in. Because I don't know, how it looks great. Like as far as like seeing a forest on fire and like representing how unpredictable and how scary going into a fire like that or being surrounded like a fire like that would look like, this movie does a fantastic job of it. And if I think in my review I even said something like the fire is actually just the best character, or like this most engaging character in the film, which it really is. And and compared to Sheridan's other films where it feels like the wintry landscapes or the harsh Texas desert areas, whatever felt like sort of this backdrop, it really does feel like this movie, the environment's more interesting than the characters. But as a thriller, it's okay. Just was sort of disappointing as a Taylor Sheridan movie, I would say. To be fair, it's based on a book though, and he apparently got the person who wrote the book is Michael Cortier. No, yep, that's the one, Michael Cortier, and apparently they wrote a screenplay based on their own book first, and then the studio was like, it's not quite right, so then they brought in Taylor Sheridan to fix it up, and he said, I'll do it if you let me direct it. And then it was this whole back and forth, so it's not like 100%.
It's not like he still had a fair bit of say and like creative control.
Yeah.
So-
Well, apparently he really wanted Angelina Jolie to do it, and that was one of the things where the studio's like, you'll never get her, but then
He got her.
he got her somehow, so yeah.
Probably on the back of his previous work. Yeah, so that makes sense. Then you also watched the other big release of the last couple of weeks, Spiral from the Book of Saw. Also got a review up on the website. Gave it a
4, I believe.
4. Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen
Gonna play
a lot of
games?
division on this one, interestingly.
Well, like I've seen some, like there was definitely, I saw Darren Lynn Bozeman, the director, on Twitter share. I don't think he called out exactly who it was, but he did share some review the other week, which was completely out of line. Like I've seen a lot of that, the thing that happens with horror movies sometimes where it's like, if someone gives a low score, people jump on them and say, oh, you obviously don't like it because you're not a proper horror fan or all this sort of shit. That one review I saw him tweet out was someone in the review, they spent like several paragraphs complaining about how only people who are sadistic, fucked up people would watch these sorts of movies, like with, you know, like torture porn sort of stuff. I'm like, yeah, you're probably... That's not really
This isn't the
reviewing the
genre
movie
for
at that
you.
stage. Like, yeah, it's like...
That's
yeah,
like if I was complaining about going into a movie. It's too
Yes.
scary. Who wants to watch
Yes.
this stuff that makes you feel scared?
Yeah. Yeah, if you watch this and you gave it like a 1 and spent the whole review saying that it's
That
fucked
scary
up,
movies
it's
are
scary,
awful.
it's just not enjoyable. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, that's fair enough. But yeah, I
That wouldn't be fair enough.
I'll-
That would be very wrong.
yeah,
And
and that
biased.
would be very much what you would say though. This movie's like super interesting in a lot of ways, but it's just also a big mess. So I've watched all the Saw films bar the one that came out previous to this, which was Jigsaw, which was their first attempt
was
at sort of
Spirit Brothers,
rebooting
right?
or like continuing. Yeah. Because they had a Saw movie every year at one stage there. Like when I was in high school and out of high school, like for
That sounds
for
right.
a period there. They were having a Saw movie every single year after the second one, I think, because of how cheap they were to make
Successful,
and how
yeah.
popular the franchise and that sort of horror at that time, like the body horror, sort of like gruesome, you know, the shock horror sort of stuff with the Hostel franchise as well around the same time and whatever else. It really took off. So then it sort of died off. And then they announced this. I remember watching the first trailer for this and being like, fuck, you know what? All aboard. It just, because it was all the weirdest elements. Chris Rock starring in a reboot of the Saw franchise or a continuation or something. Samuel L. Jackson's in it. Darren Lynn Bozeman's returning to direct. He's the one who did Saw 2, 3, and 4, which are the best trilogy aside. Like Saw 1's the best Saw film, but then, you know, 2, 3, and 4 was when that franchise was good, and then kind of after that it just went downhill very quickly. So it was like all the elements were sort of aligning, and then you hear these stories about how Chris Rock was producing it because he like sort of pitched this idea, and that's what got the studio on board. Like it just seems so weird, the whole concept of the sort of thing. So, here's the plot basically without spoiling everything. It is a continuation of the Saw franchise, kinda like it is set in a world post Jigsaw. Jigsaw is mentioned in this film. You see a picture of Jigsaw at one stage. It's very much like X amount of years after everyone knows about the Jigsaw killer. They never really tell you what city this film's set in, so it doesn't not that it really matters what city, but it's like somewhere after the line, Jigsaw killer's a thing. It's happened. It's all over. Someone starts doing Jigsaw like torture trap puzzle things again. People start getting killed. However, this time everyone being targeted is cops. And then after the first kill at the start of the movie, the Spiral sort of becomes a 7/Saw franchise, because whenever people are getting killed, it is that like elaborate trap, you know, sort of torture device stuff that you see in the Saw franchise. Like the first trap early in the movie. This isn't a spoiler because they literally put this online that you can watch if you want to, but it's like someone gets knocked out, and then they're like standing in the middle of these train tracks, and they put a device on their mouth with their tongue like clamps around it or whatever. And of course then the TV flickers to life and they say, you've used your tongue to, you know, tell these lies, blah, blah, you know, like all the typical stuff, except for this time it's not the little dude on the tricycle that they have in the Saw franchise. It's like a different character they've created for Spiral. And he has to choose to either get run over by the subway train or rip his tongue out so he'll survive, you know? So gotta do what you gotta do. So that's how it starts. And then they continue to get sort of fucked up. Someone has as far as like shock horror stuff goes, if that's what you love this franchise for, it definitely lives up to the like that. There was at least one moment where I had to like, like that was that's a hard watch, that one. So it lives up to all that. But after that first kill, you get introduced to Chris Rock's character. He's a detective, and he's out to. And Chris Rock is off his chain in this movie. It is literally like he was you would think he was directing this because it feels like he has absolutely no direction at all, and he's just trying to do his most like badass I'm a cop thing. Because he'll go from like this scene early in the movie where he's trying to, they're setting up his characters. Someone years ago, he snitched on a dirty cop. So now like the whole force hates him. And they're always yelling at him. And they have this scene early in the movie where he goes in and the captain of the precinct is played by Marcial Nicholas, who plays what's the fuck from Riverdale? Hermione Granger, right? You know, the mum. Yeah. So she's the captain, right? And she's like, everyone in this movie is insane. Like the casting is off, is fucking, I love it. She's like, you can't be doing this sort of stuff. He's like, oh, Chris Rock's like banging on this window, like, yeah, those are dirty cops, man. I can't trust it. It's like this most ridiculous over the top scene. And then you pair that with like 15 minutes later after another cop dies and they have like this close up shot on him, like staring down the camera, like sort of eyes half wincing because he's a serious cop. And next second, he's getting sent packages to the precinct that are sent directly to him. And inside are like, they're like, oh, what's in the box? It's like it's Seven all over again. And then they're like evidence, like the USB things for him to play, or like people's body parts that the killers like cut off and sent to him. So it's like very much like, hey, we're Seven and we're Saw now and off we go. And his dad's played by Samuel Jackson, who isn't really in the movie that much, but he comes in and early in the movie and he's like, you want to play games, motherfucker? And that's a great scene. It's probably my favorite line from the trailer, and it's like the best line in the whole thing. It's just utterly ridiculous. But ultimately it has some cool ideas. It's very much like, as far as themes go, it's very obvious what the theme is if you've watched the trailer and like seen everything. It's literally like dirty cops have too much power, cops are abusing their power. Like thematically, it plays into current worldwide events where someone's trying to get revenge or prove that the cops are, like take out all the dirty cops sort of thing or something along those lines. So thematically, all makes sense. I just think, as far as it coming together story-wise, and then paired with just like Chris Rock being off his fucking let loose like a cannon in this, and then the off acting isn't particularly great either, and just all that sort of stuff, it sort of falls apart by the end of it. It's by no means the worst Saw film, but it's definitely not the best. And I think that if they want to continue this, like if this does well enough that they're like Spiral 2 going to happen, which by the way, the film ends on a major cliffhanger. Like it just cuts to credits, and I actually heard someone in the cinema next to me go, oh wow, that's it. Like, like it's like one of those random cuts to credits where, I mean, this is a proper cliffhanger where like someone's like sort of screaming at the camera like, no, and then like cuts to credits, like proper cliffhanger, not, oh, there may be a sequel. It's like, there will be a sequel as long as we make enough money. And then you just go watch it sort of thing. So they want to make it.
Is it an annoying cliffhanger? It's like,
no, it's not annoying. It's like, it's a fine place to end it, but it's very much like if you went into this and it was called Spiral Part 1, then the cliffhanger would be like, well, that's a good place to end it because we knew it was Part 1. Whereas, you go into it expecting a full story and it's very much like, I don't know. It can't, like, think about the way Empire Strikes Back ends, that sort of like ending where it's like, there's a sequel coming, but not as good. This is very much like a bit more of a dramatic scene, but they're like, oh, and then the credits started and we're like, okay, a bit of whiplash off that. But anyway, I think if they want to continue this franchise and do the cool ideas, they need to change the director. No offense to Darren Lynn Bousman, because as I said, I like what he did on the Saw franchise, but he just feels too much of that era. And if they're trying to refresh this franchise going forward, like he does all the same camera movements and stuff that they've always done in Saw, which maybe they wanted, and that's the reason they brought him back. Which is, I know you haven't watched them, but it's like this thing where they'll cut to the scene where someone's in a truck.
I saw the girl walk into a mirror thing, a window thing that has been doing the rounds. The transition.
What the? Oh right, yeah. So it's the fast, like zippy, like someone's in the middle of a room in a trap, and the camera will like introduce and it'll be like slow, and then like as the music kicks in, it'll be like like all these like the camera's like sort of bouncing around the room, like close ups, and just it's all of that feels like very old school. And I think a different director with a different style, and then also someone who could say, Chris, mate.
Don't do that.
Take it down about 5 levels for this scene, and that'll be okay. Because I've seen a lot of people say he's great in this. Good for you. For me, it is a Razzie performance.
Wow.
Like it is all over the fucking place. That it was distracting for me how all over the place his performance was. Like he was just a wild man. Like, and look, sometimes you can have this sort of performance and it works, and you'll never know until you watch the movie. This is not one of those cases. This is a case of me being like, you just and there's just so many. Oh no, it's a weird movie, but I guess you know if you like this, you're gonna watch it anyway. Let's be honest. Anyone who's like, I want to know. It's been a while since I saw a film. It's been a while since we've had a sort of fucked up horror movie. Go for it.
Cool. Actually, I want to bring up something that you mentioned in there. Obviously, Saw has done a similar thing to a few other movies recently, where they've released like the first 10, 15 minutes of the film
online. Yeah,
online. I think Mortal Kombat did it. Army of the Dead has done it. How do you feel about that marketing move? Is it's a interesting trend at the very least?
I don't. Well, so the interesting thing is they've done it for movies previously, where they do it, but it's like go to this movie and in the cinema, as like prior to the movie, we'll show you the opening of The Dark Knight. You know, like so it's not like a new concept per se, but like posting it online is.
And posting it online before the movie comes out as well.
Yeah. I think it's fine. I don't really mind. I haven't watched any of them because I'm always just planning to go watch the movie. You know, they usually post these things a day or two before the movie, or like a week before the movie tops, I think. And most of the time I'm like, well, I'm seeing that in a couple of days, so I'm not going to watch it. It's fine. But yeah, so I can't say for sure if it works or not, but if they keep doing it, I guess there must be evidence to say that these things get views, and then that maybe they think that leads, you know, it's like, whatever. What's the first 10 minutes of the movie going to spoil more than a trailer does, ultimately? It's like, whatever.
Yeah. I know. I think it's fine. It's just interesting that there's so many at the same time doing it, whether there's some thing on their end that they're really seeing some sort of results from this kind of thing. Yeah, but yeah, interesting.
It draws some, a bunch of people writing about it too, because I remember when the Saw one dropped, a bunch of people were like, true. Here's the first 10 minutes of Saw, here's how fucked up it is.
You do get a bunch of internet press. Yeah. Easy internet press. More than you would get for like a trailer right before.
Yeah, like a short like trailer usually posts in the lead up, or a TV spot, I guess.
Yeah. So I started watching Mare of Easttown. So this is a series currently airing on Binge, but it's a HBO show over in America, starring Kate Winslet, Gene Smart, Guy Pearce, Angourie Rice, Evan Peters, where Kate Winslet plays a detective in suburban Philadelphia who's investigating a recent murder of a teenage mother. She's like a local resident. It's like one of those small towns where everybody kind of knows everybody. But yeah, she used to be like the star high school basketball player who helped win this town win its first ever state championship or whatever. And then went on to become a cop. More recently, she's been under pressure because there's been this disappearance that she's been unable to solve for the last year, and she's getting a lot of hate because she hasn't been able to solve it. She's gone through a divorce. Her son took his own life. She's raising her grandson, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a interesting world that's been built. It builds up pretty quickly, and then obviously this new murder happens at the start of the season that she has to try and solve. I'm really enjoying it. It's like one of those like murder mystery kind of shows that are really engrossing. Kate Winslet is really great. It's a very unglamorous role. She's definitely not Titanic dressmaker. Kate Winslet is very, lower class, I would say. Looking Kate Winslet. Although she looks great anyway, but she lives
it normal people, Ash, like normal people.
Yeah, a regular working class. Working class.
Person. Yeah, working class.
Forget where I said lower. Working. So Jean Smart plays her mother, who lives with her to help raise the family. And her and Kate Winslet have like this great banter. Sometimes it feels like a real family, Sometimes they love each other and sometimes they really hate each other. They've got the weird dynamic where her ex-husband is living in the house like across the backyard from each other. So she finds out he's just got engaged at the start of the season. And then there's the mystery around the murder of this young mother. Was it the father of the baby who they were separated because she's like she's like 16 or something, I think, at the start of the season. Oh, well, when she gets murdered, so I guess she's always going to be 16.
Wow, you're on a roll. You're on a fucking roll. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, or is it somebody else? Yeah, and I feel like Evan Peters gets brought in because Mare's not doing a very good job. To be clear, Kate Winslet plays Mare, Mare, of Mare of Easttown. That's her name. It's odd. And then Guy Pearce plays like a love interest and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Angry Rice is really good as well as her daughter, who high school student. She's got serious Gwen Stacy vibes, which is crazy considering that she plays somebody else in Spider-Man. So that's kind of but she's really good as well. So yeah, I've only watched the 4 episodes. It's currently 5 episodes. At a time of recording, there's 7 episodes in the season, so if you want to catch up before the season ends and find out everything that happens, check it out over on Binge.
This is one I do. I've wanted to start watching since it started, but I just haven't had time. But yes,
no, yeah.
So it from the look at it, I'm like, this seems like it's something I should watch because it probably will have awards. Maybe
yes, I think. Yeah. Obviously, I think it will definitely get awards love. I think it makes an interesting 3-way race now for Best Actress in a Limited Series, with probably Olivia, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Elizabeth Olsen. Probably is at the moment. I would think the 2 other leads in the drama. Yeah.
For a second, I was like, "What? Elizabeth Olsen? What show was she?"
I think one of the best shows of the year. Then the first half of season 1 of The Nevers finished, which was the show set in Victorian England times. Or, yeah, I think it's... I don't know what... Yeah, Victorian England. But, all these women have superpowers. Really interesting. I had... Yeah, I definitely got X-Men...
the Joss Whedon one.
Yeah, the Joss Whedon one that he's no longer part of. And nothing going forward will be a part of. I really enjoyed it. They had one of those really interesting... Did you ever watch Dollhouse?
Yes.
You know how there was, I think, probably season finales, there was those episodes where they're completely away from the main cast. And they're fill in the backstory.
Buffy did that.
Yeah, a little bit, but not much. Oh. The season part finale, I guess, does that, where it kind of explains a lot of the backstory of a certain character, and a lot of how things are happening to a certain degree, but also I've got no fucking idea what's happening to a certain degree. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to watching more when it is less problematic to keep Sam watching it. Because that person won't be involved anymore. But yeah,
it's fine. I think he was well off by the time the season finale rolled around anyway.
Yeah. And Claudia Black's in the finale. If that saw that causing a lot of buzz. Of course, she plays what's her face, Chloe, right?
In what?
Uncharted.
Oh right, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Dylan, I've seen you've been watching a lot of a certain show the last few days. Been watching a lot of Lego Masters.
So I guess my story for this is went and visited Cherie. Cherie likes this show. This is the 3rd season, right? Lego Masters. This is season 3 I was watching. Cherie likes this show. this is what I would refer to as a normal TV show. So it's not usually on my radar.
It's one of those shows for the normies on their free-to-air television services.
Yeah, free-to-air.
One of those shows with ad breaks.
Yeah, so we're watching this on template, and I cannot say how pissed I was.
Well,
every time
one, it's on 9.
There's like 6 ads.
It's not on template. It's on Channel 9.
I was watching it. Well, whatever. I was watching it on whatever the stream. 9 Play, is that a thing?
I think it's just 9 now. I don't know.
Oh, whatever.
One of those apps.
Now. Yeah, one of those fucking things.
They've all got
like
one.
six fucking ads an episode. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so that's how I ended up watching this. It wasn't like I was against the show. I knew what it was. I remember seeing like 5 minutes of it once 2 years ago, whenever it started. I was like, oh yeah, interesting, I guess. From the outset, I guess long-time listeners or people know personally should know that I do pick on reality TV. It's probably not my favorite genre. In fact, I'd probably go as far as to say it's probably my least favorite genre because there's just so much shit within reality TV. Looking at you, Kardashians. But that's, neither here nor there. This show's pretty good though. Very much enjoying it. I've got like I think we've got the finale left to clean up.
Whoa.
But so don't spoil it for me, everyone. But yeah, in case you're done with the show, is because you don't watch normal TV either.
I watch a bit.
You've got.
I know.
Well, no, I mean
I watch sports, so they have ads during that show.
Yeah, I mean the general viewers, not
okay.
in particular.
You don't think the listeners of this show watch any normal TV?
I'm just saying if they don't. So Lego Masters is a show, one of these competition shows, which I hear are quite popular. There's one called there's Master Chef, there's Master Table, there's Chef Table.
Shows.
There's cooking.
It's competition shows or dating shows.
Yeah, there's like it's all this. This is my problem. This is my problem. Ash. Anytime I go around like a grandparents or something, and they have like. They just watch normal TV stuff. Flick free TV. What is it? Reality TV, cooking show, reality TV, cooking show, reality TV. It's just anyway. This is why we don't have a good Australian programming anymore because it's all these shows are cheap as fuck to make. I can't remember how many contestants there is. Anyway, there's like several teams. Typical thing where every couple episodes there are one's booted out for being the worst, and it's just all about making Lego builds. They have a theme every episode. Usually, it's like, oh yeah, this one's castles or whatever, and this sort of thing. But it's rather wholesome and funny and entertaining. I think a big part of it that makes it quite enjoyable is Hamish from the classic radio programming and TV programming, Hamish and Andy. He hosts it, and he's just a little shit, to be honest. is what he is. He's an absolute pain in the ass for all of the contestants, which makes it quite funny. They'll, like one of them will be stressing in a corner trying to make sure this head doesn't fall off a Lego piece, and then Hamish will just sneak up behind him and go, "Oh, wouldn't it suck if that fell off right now?" Like this. So it's just he's the devil on it, but it makes for good TV. So that's quite entertaining.
Yeah.
You have that usual thing with these sorts of shows where it's first episode you're like, hate them, they suck. Hate them, they suck. These are the ones I want to win. And most of the times, the ones you like end up getting booted off quickly. But that's fine. Currently, my favorite team's still in the finale. So, don't know if they'll win. Let's hope they do. I'm not gonna say who because someone won't spoil it, but that's fine. But no, it's quite enjoyable. And I guess the other thing is because they're doing these massive, insane Lego builds, which blow my mind because. I can follow Lego instructions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the idea of just being told, or like they draw on an iPad or a piece of paper, like, we're going to do this, like giant structure, and then they just make it. I'm like, that's absolute insanity. I just don't understand how it works. I did walk away from it and came back home, and I'm like, I've got a couple boxes of Lego I haven't actually made in my wardrobe. That I just haven't had time to do, and I'm like, oh, maybe I could, give me a bit of a Lego itch, watching Lego. But yeah,
pretty good. Well, maybe I'll go watch it on the Channel 9 app,
whatever it's called.
Rewatch.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Fucking ads, terrible. I would have rather have just gone.
I wouldn't be surprised if there is an option.
I don't know. I wasn't in control of the TV. If it was me and there was an option to pay $7 for a 1 month subscription, I would pay the $7, watch all of it, and then cancel and just do no ads.
Okay. All right, let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. So I watched Jupiter's Legacy. So this is the new series based on the Mark Millar, Frank Whiteley series of comics. Show run by Stephen S. DeKnight, who people would probably know from. He did Spartacus. I thought he did Daredevil.
He did.
Yeah, he did Daredevil as well.
He's wrote a lot of comics.
He's wrote a lot of different stuff, but yeah. So it follows Sheldon Sampson. So there's two distinct timelines. I guess technically there's the present timeline. Well, it's set during, there's present day. There's the Union, which is the big Justice League-esque group of superheroes who protect the world, headed by Sheldon, who is the Utopian. I mean, it's a cool name, but they're currently, trying to save everything. Their big through line for the season is they've got this code, that they try to follow as closely as possible. One of the key components is do not kill. First episode, the Utopian son kills a supervillain, who let's be it was very much a scenario where the supervillain was going to murder them all. So I mean, he really did save the day, but is it just a lot of the season is questioning that code and and then also looking into the family dynamic of the Utopian and his children, Brandon, who kills the the dude, and Chloe, who has given up the superhero life and has become a drug addicted model who goes around, but also has superpowers at the same time. And then also the show has all these flashbacks of back in the 1920s of how Sheldon and his crew of people got their superpowers through these visions he gets after his father commits suicide. This show is a mess. It's enjoyable, but it is got it's just trying to do too much. I think is the ultimate problem. I think the ensemble cast is massive, and then you double it by making them having the two, the present day and then the flashback storylines running at the same time during an episode. So Brandon kills somebody at the start of the season. He's deals for an episode or two, and then he disappears for 5 episodes before coming back right at the end of the season. And there's other examples of that. There are some fun moments where they play with timelines and how certain things, Chloe's Chloe gets hit by a van. You see her you see the storyline leading up to getting hit by a van, and then you see it from her perspective up to getting hit by the van and that kind of stuff. It probably makes no sense saying it out loud, but but yeah, it's doing really well on Netflix. I don't really understand why. It's one of those odd anomaly shows, I feel that sometimes just keeps trending, even though it's not very good.
It's a superhero show.
It is a superhero show, but I mean, it's not very good. I mean, Josh Duhamel and Leslie Bibb, they're getting caked in makeup. It doesn't look very impressive. Because they're playing the same... they're playing them from the 1920s and the present day, so super old with wigs, white-haired wigs and shit. Yeah, I mean, there's certain things to like there. There's a few interesting characters and stuff, but and then there's this season-long mystery of how this supervillain tried to kill them. Turns out he was a clone the entire time. It wasn't actually the actual supervillain who was still locked up. So who created this clone that almost killed everybody? He's got an odd design, very Darkseid-esque, I think, but not CG. Yeah, I don't know. It's an odd one. I would probably give it a 4 or 5. I didn't really enjoy it, but I would have been surprised. When I finished watching it, I was going, no, there's no way this is going to get a second season. I think it's definitely going to get. It's going to be. It looks like it's a huge success. So, I guess good on you, Netflix, for finding superhero genre is not dying.
You've sold me. I'm not watching it.
Listen, just watch Invincible again. It's that actually.
What's funnier is I think I read this comic and I just can't remember it.
Yeah, this made me appreciate Invincible more for the way it balanced its cast and everything. So yeah. Let's move into some film news. Dylan, did you know Golden Globes, they're very problematic. They've had their ups and downs over the last year. They feel like they've been a punching bag for a while, but this year, obviously, a lot of problems with it's been constantly controversy ridden. It seems like there was a different story every week or so. The latest blow, NBC has announced that they will not air the Golden Globes for 2022 because the HFPA needs time to adopt meaningful reform within its ranks. In a statement they released, we continue to believe that the HFPA is committed to meaningful reform, but however, change of this magnitude takes time and work, and we feel strongly that they need time to do it right. As such, NBC will not air the 2022 Golden Globes, assuming the organization executes on its plan. We are hopeful we will be in a position to air the show in January 2023. Was this a surprise to you? That they actually pull the show?
Yeah, I think them pulling the show is a surprise. You don't really expect anyone to have any sort of backbone in Hollywood, so yeah, that was the surprising part. And then you've got Tom Cruise mailing back Golden Globes and whatever else that adds on to the story and makes it a little bit more interesting. Just to imagine him shoving them into a mailbox somewhere, going "fuck you," while he goes back to filming Mission Impossible 9 Part 2 or whatever.
I mean, he probably didn't mail them. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. This is I guess this is the sort of stuff that you want to see happen to a degree. It's like if you want to see change, it's more than just wearing a pin to the red carpet or something like that. So
I'll be honest, I'm a bit cynical about this. I think, cool, it's really good that they're like showing some backbone and saying, hey, we think this isn't you're not doing the right thing, But how much is it because the ratings are terrible on this event and they can save money by just airing something else? This is a good excuse to stop showing the Golden Globe.
I mean, that definitely could be part of it. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past it, but it's also just free, easy programming, like content wise. That I don't think it's, what I mean. It's not like it's not costing them a lot of money. It's just kind of free content that even if it's, this is the same as the Oscars conversation where it's like, well, it doesn't draw that many viewers. It's like, well, it doesn't actually cost that much to make either. So free content. They're losing out.
That's true.
Free advertisers. They draw in a lot of advertisers for these shows. Usually,
but I mean, the ratings have been on the decline, it seems like, forever. So, who knows at this point? So a lot of interesting business news this week. Kicking things off with AT&T set to spin off and combine WarnerMedia with Discovery in a deal that could create a streaming giant. The deal, subject to regulatory approval, will combine 2 treasure troves of content, including HBO Max and Discovery Plus streaming services. CNN will also be included in the transaction. Discovery CEO David Zaliz said, I think we fit together like a glove. On one level, the tie-up is a logical way to always compete with Netflix and Disney, the 2 top streaming services. Scale is the word AT&T CEO John Stankey used repeatedly in interviews on Monday. On another level, the transaction is also a complex way for AT&T to unwind its 2016 bid for Time Warner, which took effect in 2018 with the assets named WarnerMedia. A spin-off will help AT&T prioritize its broadband business and pay down its huge debt load. Yeah, interesting. That they're moving Warner Brothers away. It's like shoving it. I guess this is something we've been kind of expecting for a while. I feel like they tried to sell off a bunch of Warner Media stuff a while ago, whether it be the video games division or there've been a lot of job cuts and that kind of stuff. So for AT&T to not be in control of Warner Media is probably best for everyone. I think it's fair to say.
I didn't read this as a bad news story. Maybe that's because I just didn't. Maybe it is, and I don't fully understand why it is. But I remember just seeing the headline and straight away being like, "That seems like a good piece of news, right?" Like shrugs, like especially back.
It's one of those ones where you're like not 100% sure.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, very much being like, I'm not fully grasping everything that's here, but given what we was reading about in the last couple months, all that sort of stuff we discussed on Arcade Couch, that I was like, this seems like a good thing, I guess. I don't know. Look, I want to discuss a little bit more of the video game side on this week's upcoming episode of Arcade Couch, because I think that's a little bit different about what's happening there. But as for the Warner, just in general side, then yeah, I think this is good. And I mean, we'll only find out once this has gone all the way through, I guess, once it's approved and all the boxes have been ticked.
Yeah. But yeah, really interesting. With that catalog, they could definitely compete. Considering what here, this company would mean that they own 6 of the top 8 cable channels in America: CNN, TNT, TBS, ID, HGTV, and the Food Network. So that's a lot of content that could potentially be pushed into one service, or they could just make some sort of deal so you get both services for a certain amount.
Everyone needs a service.
Everybody needs their own service, Yeah, that's interesting. And then Amazon is apparently deep in negotiations to buy MGM. So Variety has news on the potential sale. Right now, the corporate giant is weeks into negotiations on a deal that would give them over 4,000 films and over 17,000 hours of television shows. Along with adding that huge chunk of entertainment to their streaming library comes the potential of expanding it with sequels, remakes, reboots, reimaginings, and whatever else they might want to do with those titles. So titles included in MGM include James Bond, The Hobbit, Rocky/Creed, RoboCop, Pink Panther, Stargate, The Silence of the Lambs, Fargo, Vikings, Teen Wolf, Get Shorty. They also handled The Voice, Survivor, Shark Tank, and The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Didn't we remember discussing this at some stage? And basically,
I feel like MGM's been chopped around everywhere.
Yeah, but didn't we agree that they were asking? I remember talking about it and being like, that there was some really high price that was being thrown around, and being like, is that amount of money worth it for basically the sole reason anyone would buy it, which is to get 007, and the rest is sort of like, there's no other franchise name that is on the caliber there as 007. And then of course that brings up the conversation of, is 007 as relevant? Is James Bond as relevant now as it was 20, 30 years ago? But yeah, I don't think there's any other. I actually don't think their catalog is that hot. There's a bunch of okay stuff there, but there's certainly not any heavy hitters, in my opinion.
Yeah, so there was a story back in December last year, which I guess isn't that long ago. I don't see any numbers. I don't see any numbers to say what they were offering. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like MGM hasn't been going that great recently. Of course, they've got their Rocky, and I think Creed, and obviously they're hoping James Bond is going to get something. I feel like we definitely talked about it when we were talking about James Bond potentially being, No Time to Die potentially being sold to a streaming service.
Netflix or something, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Amazon is not a terrible place for them to end up, I guess. I guess for most people who just have an Amazon account at this point, have an Amazon Prime account, it's just a whole bunch more content, I guess. It's
a bolstering the library. I just don't think there's anything there that's like, I will subscribe to Prime for this. maybe people subscribe because, like they would still want James Bond to go to theaters, but Amazon of a lot of the streaming places has been one of those places that has got like a sort of, like for the fact, remember The Big Sick? I remember sitting in the cinema watching that and going, Amazon Studios, this is kind of weird, seeing like their logo come up or whatever. So it's like, they're like Amazon as a place isn't adverse to cinema, is what I guess I'm saying. Like they're not like all in on streaming's the future. They would still put stuff in the cinema. They still make movies and produce.
Well, I think only Netflix is adverse to cinemas, and so even there,
but that's and well, they're dipping in so they can still get in the awards. I don't think Netflix would put movies.
Well, that's
in the
not
cinema.
true. I'm just they just did a week-long preview screening of Army of the Dead over in America.
Yeah,
Pretty sure
they did.
Which made me angry. Why not here?
Yeah. We have no choice. But yeah, it would be a nice bolster, I guess, to the catalog, but it wouldn't be a selling point for Prime. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I know. I'm sure there's people who just love Bond movies and would subscribe to any service that has all of them there.
Maybe because I know when Stan had all the Bond movies that it was a selling point.
Yeah. And then all the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
The home of Lord of the Rings. Well, I guess maybe that's why they want to buy it, because then they can
have old Lord of the Rings and they can have their upcoming
Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. So that's interesting. And then Disney has announced that their two upcoming titles, Free Guys and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, will have a 45-day exclusive theatrical window. I think this may be interesting in a few points. One, it's not coming to Disney Plus premium access, so that would make, I want to say, Luca the final film. No, Jungle Cruise is going to be on Premium Plus.
When's Jungle Cruise out? September or something.
Yeah, September or something like that. I want to say off the top of my head. That's going to be on Disney Plus and cinemas. But then Free Guys and Shang-Chi, which come out August 13th and September 3rd, are going to both have 45-day exclusive theatrical windows. So you'll only be able to see it in theaters for those first 45 days.
Woo!
That's good. It is down from the 90-day window, which was what it was before the pandemic, and also kind of brings it in line with Paramount and a bunch of other studios and what they're doing going forward. So it seems like from now on, that theatrical window is halved.
I think this is just. I actually think this will just stick around. This is just this will be the thing.
This is the new normal.
I think this or around this will be the new normal. This is one of those things we always talk about, like what's the after effects of this COVID era on cinemas and stuff like that. I think the middle point is the cinemas and the streaming services being like agreeing to bring that exclusivity window to a shorter period that they could both agree on. And 45 seems like a nice, like, it's long enough but not too short kind of thing, like.
So 6-7 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, I actually think that's long enough.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
And then it probably just comes to like premium. You won't be able to rent it for $7 or something. It'll be you buy a copy or you pay a premium.
I think that's fine. It's 7 weeks cinema release, then it goes straight to premiere. You have to pay you can buy it. iTunes, $30. Yeah, or whatever. You can straight up buy it. You can, or maybe Disney Plus lets you do their whole thing, early, which I don't know why you would when you could just buy it through iTunes or Google Play for $30 at the same time. But anyway, maybe that's what they do. And then you have that for like, I don't know, a month or however long, and then it goes to rental. That seems like a good rollout.
Good system going forward.
I think that works for everyone. I would be perfectly happy with that.
But yeah, it seems like they're confident that there'll be enough people in cinemas in America by August to justify it not coming to
Can
Disney
I also
Plus.
say that I only randomly, when we got an email the other day, realized that Black Widow was coming to Disney Plus.
Didn't you know
I
that?
did not know this.
They
I
announced
did
that.
not know this. No, I did not know this. I opened this email and it says in cinemas July 8th or whatever, and it's like July 9th, whatever. Like it's the day after whatever the date is.
Because it comes out the Friday,
Yeah,
whatever time it switches over. Yeah,
Premiere Access or whatever. I'm like, I did not know that was a thing, but okay.
it's fine. We got a whole day to go watch in the cinema first.
Cruella's coming in cinemas, by the way,
It is, yes.
which was another thing I learned
It's
the
like
other day.
a week away.
Next week.
At time recording.
Yeah, yes. I actually did not expect that to come to cinemas, but there you go.
Yeah. Apparently, getting positive reviews.
I would rather watch Luca in the cinemas,
I think yes. I think yes.
but you know,
But we don't get a choice. One
Yeah.
day when they do like pitch up retrospectives.
Yeah.
All right. So over in America, they just had all their big upfronts for the year where they announced their schedules and that kind of stuff. But they also announced a bunch of new television shows that are coming to the big networks over there. So there wasn't upfronts last year, but the last couple of years, what we've done is we've gone through everything that's been announced. And then Dylan, you're going to tell me if it's going to get a second season or not. So,
Second season or not.
so let's go through this incredible list. Over on the CW, they've got the 4400. Based on the original USA Network drama, the new take follows 4400 overlooked, undervalued, and otherwise marginalized people who vanished without a trace over the last 100 years are all returned in an instant without having not aged a day, with no memory of what happened to them. As the government races to analyze the potential threat and contain the story, the 4400 themselves must grapple with the fact that they've returned with a few upgrades and increasing likelihood that they are all brought back now for a specific reason.
Is this a remake?
This is, yes, a remake, kind of. I think
Dunno.
the difference is, I think when they did this last time, it was like they disappeared for like a decade or something like that. This time it's like hundreds of years.
Yeah, so it was 2004 to 2008.
Yeah.
And also The Leftovers was a show from a couple years ago. So
With a similar.
with a similar theme. Yeah, this gets sure. CW shows always get a second season.
Okay. Abbott Elementary is coming to ABC. In this workplace comedy, a group of dedicated, passionate teachers and a slightly tone-deaf principal are brought together in a Philadelphia public school where, despite the odds stacked against them, they're determined to help their students succeed. Though these incredible public servants may be outnumbered and underfunded, they love what they do, even if they don't love the school district's less than stellar attitude towards educating children.
No. People don't like to hear about teachers being schools underfunded and teachers underpaid. People just like to live in a world of, there's certain things people don't like to hear about. So, no. Not going to go. No second season for that one. Plus, ABC loves cancelling shit.
They do. Over on CBS, they've got The Activist, a competition series featuring 6 inspiring activists teamed with 3 high-profile public figures working together to bring meaningful change to one of 3 vitally important world causes: health, education, and the environment.
A reality show built around activism. I hate it, so no.
Alter Ego, a singing competition where lost dreams and second chances are reignited when singers from all walks of life become the stars they always wanted to be. However, these contestants won't perform as themselves. Rather, they'll be given the chance to show how they always wanted to be seen, creating the dream avatar alter ego to reinvent themselves and perform like never before.
No.
No? Yeah,
No.
okay. American Auto, coming to NBC, a single-camera workplace comedy set at the headquarters of a major American automotive company in Detroit, where a floundering group of executives try to rediscover the company identity amidst a rapidly changing industry.
No. I hear they're all closing down, so no.
Okay. This is an amusing one. American Song Contest. Based on the worldwide phenomenon Eurovision Song Contest, the US version will feature live original musical performances representing all 50 states, 5 US territories, and nation's capital, competing to win the country's vote for Best Original Song.
I hate it, but yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Americans love that shit. Singing and dancing and a bunch of flags and acting like the 50 states are all the 50 countries in the world and they're all very different and there's much variety there. Yeah, look, that's going to go second season. Can't wait.
All right. Over on Fox, they've got The Big Leap. A group of diverse underdogs from all different walks of life compete to be part of a competition reality series that is putting on a modern hip remake of Swan Lake. What they lack in traditional dancer body type, they make up for with their edge, wit, and desire to reimagine an iconic story to fit their mold. To be clear, this is not a reality TV show. It's scripted. As far as I can tell.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Back on Fox, they've got The Cleaning Lady, based on the Argentine series La Chica que Limpia. This darkly aspirational character drama follows a whip-smart doctor who comes to the US for medical treatment to save her ailing son, but when the system fails, it pushes her into hiding. She refuses to be beaten down and marginalized. Instead, she becomes a cleaning lady for the mob and starts playing the game by her own rules.
The fuck?
Starring Elodie Young from Marvel's Daredevils.
Which one's that? Is that Electra?
I think so.
How many
Yes,
female...
Electra.
Nah, fuck that. She was terrible in that show.
Okay.
Nah.
Alright.
Nah, cancelled.
Alright. Back on CBS, the first of our Mare number of acronym shows. CSI Vegas. The series opens a brand new chapter in Vegas, the city where it all began. Facing an existential threat that could bring down the crime lab, a brilliant new team of forensic investigators must welcome back old friends and deploy new techniques to preserve and serve justice in Sin City. Starring original stars William Peterson, Georgia Fox, and Wallace Langham.
Yep, it's going to get 10 seasons.
Probably. Come Dance With Me is coming to CBS. Young dancers from across the country
10 seasons.
invite one inspirational, untrained family member or other adult who has supported their dance dreams to become the dance partner for a chance to strut their stuff for a grand prize. So that's going to get 10
seasons.
Over on Fox, Domino Masters, hosted by Modern Family's Eric Stonestreet. The competition series features teams of domino enthusiasts facing off in an unbelievable domino toppling and chain reaction tournament.
This is because of Lego Masters, isn't it?
Maybe.
That's getting it. Yeah, that'll do it. Yep, that'll get a second season.
Yeah, can you imagine the tenseness of someone accidentally knocking a domino too soon? Ooh.
I don't think there cannot be as much variety in that as with Lego. Come on. Unless they're doing like things where they're knocking over water bottles into pens, into cylinders, into dogs, and they're barking and causing a cat to bounce on something. Like I just don't see it. But it'll get a second season.
It'll get a season. Don't forget the lyrics. The game show returns to the challenge contestants' musical memory as they get one song closer to winning $1 million if they don't forget the lyrics.
Yep.
All right. CBS back with FBI International. Debuting in a crossover episode of FBI and FBI Most Wanted next season, the offshoot follows the elite agents of the FBI's International Division as they travel the world with the mission of protecting Americans wherever they may be.
Yep, 100%. Protecting Americans? Love that.
Okay.
Cop shows? Love that.
On CBS, you've got Ghosts. In this single camera comedy, a struggling young couple's dreams come true when they inherit a beautiful country house only to find is both falling apart and inhabited by many of the deceased previous residents.
Yeah. I can see
Okay.
it.
You can see it.
Ghosts. Sure.
Over on NBC, you've got Grand Crew. A group of black friends unpack the ups and downs of life and love at a wine bar.
Oh, sorry, I was waiting for more.
Starring Nicole
sure.
Byer.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Sure, let's go.
Over on CBS, Good Sam. Talented yet stifled surgeon embraces her leadership role after a renowned and pompous boss falls into a coma. When he awakens and wants to resume surgery, however, it falls to her to supervise this overbearing blowhard who never acknowledged her talents and also happens to be her father. Starring Sophia Bush and Jason Isaacs.
You know what's as good as cop shows?
Medical
Doctor
dramas.
shows.
Yeah.
Yep, medical dramas. Fuck yeah. Second season coming in.
Second season. Home Sweet Home. Executive produced by Ava DuVernay, the unscripted series follows two families who lead very different lives for a life-changing experience. It explores what it's like to walk a mile in another person's shoes by challenging racial, religious, economic, geographic, gender, and identity assumptions as participants exchange homes for a week and experience the life of someone unlike them. This feels like IP.
This feels like what?
Feels like some sort of copyright breach here, but
of what?
Like wife swap or something like that. Isn't that the exact same premise?
I don't know. No, that's not going to second season.
Okay. Over on Fox, you got Crapopolis, created by Dan Harmon. The animated comedy is set in mythical, ancient Greece and is centered on a flawed family of humans, gods, and monsters that tries to run one of the world's first cities without killing each other.
Yep. 6 seasons in a movie.
All right. La Brea. When a massive sinkhole mysteriously opens in Los Angeles, it tears a family in half, separating mother and son from father and daughter. When part of their family finds themselves in an unexplainable primeval world alongside a disparate group of strangers, they must work to survive and uncover the mystery of where they are and if there is a way back home.
Is Rock in this?
No, he is not in this.
All right, no second season.
No, okay. On NBC, LA Fire and Rescue docuseries chronicles the Los Angeles County Fire Departments. No,
okay, yep, sure.
Wouldn't be one of these without one of these. One of these without Law and Order for the Defense. The offshoot takes an unbiased look into the criminal defense firm. The drama will put the lawyers under the microscope along with the criminal justice system, with every week delivering the promise of a contemporary morality tale.
6 seasons in a movie. No, I don't know. Yeah, sure. It'll get a second
Probably don't
season.
need a movie.
Yeah.
Over on ABC, they got Maggie. Follows a young woman trying to cope with life as a psychic. Maggie regularly sees the fate of her friends, parents, clients, and random strangers on the street, but when she suddenly sees a glimpse of her own future, Maggie is forced to start living in her own present.
Is this the ghost of present, future, present, past?
Yeah, kind of. I know.
But
I don't know
Christmas.
if there's any past.
Just future.
Yeah, present and future.
Present, future. Nah. I reckon if they'd had the past, second season, but they fucked it, so nah. Not happening.
No. Okay. Monarch. A Texas-sized multi-generational musical drama about America's first family of country music. The Romans are fiercely talented, but while their name is synonymous with honesty, the very foundation of their success is a lie. When their reign as country royalty is put in jeopardy, Nicky Roman, the heir to the crown, already battling an industry stacked against her, will stop at nothing to protect her family's legacy.
Nah, that's like Succession, but not as good, isn't it?
It's like Succession, but with country music.
Yeah, no, I don't reckon.
No, okay. Next Level Chef. Aspiring chefs compete in cooking challenges on each level of a 3-story tower for a $250,000 grand prize.
How many of these
that's
variations of
pretty
cooking
lazy.
shows can they fucking... No, actually, yeah, it will get a second season, but no.
But no, I don't want it.
Yeah.
NCIS Hawaii.
Yep.
The
10
franchise
seasons.
expands to Aloha State as the first female special agent in charge of the NCIS Pearl Harbor, and her team balance duty to family and country, investigating high-stakes crimes involving military personnel, national security, and the mysteries of the island itself.
10 seasons.
10 seasons. Ordinary Joe comes to NBC, explores the three parallel lives of the show's main character after he makes a pivotal choice at a crossroads in his life. The series asks the question of how different life might look if you made decisions based on love, loyalty, or passion.
Nah, I don't reckon.
No, it sounds too interesting to last more than one season. Our Kind of People's coming to Fox, executive produced by Lee Daniels. The drama takes place in the aspirational world of Oak Bluffs on Martha's Vineyard, a historical stronghold where the rich and powerful black elite have come to play for over 50 years. Strong-willed single mum Angela Vaughan sets out to reclaim her family's name and make an impact with her revolutionary hair care line that highlights the innate natural beauty of black women. But she soon discovers a dark secret about her mother's past that will turn her world upside down and shake up this community forever.
Maybe if the twist is good, I guess. I don't know. Like, it just seems... yeah, sure. Let's say maybe for that one.
Fox has got Pivoting. The single camera comedy follows three women after the death of their childhood best friend. Faced with the reality that their life is short, in desperate attempts to find happiness, they make a series of impulsive, ill-advised and self-indulgent decisions, strengthening their bond and proving it's never too late to screw up your life.
No.
Yep. Over on ABC, there'll be Queens. In the drama, estranged and out of touch, four women in their 40s reunite for a chance to recapture their fame and regain the swagger they had as the Nasty Bitches, their 90s group that made them legends in the hip-hop world.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Potential.
Sure.
2.5 seasons. Never see the finish. It's cancelled.
Over on CBS, you got Small. On CBS, you got Smallwood.
Okay.
After being laid off from the assembly line at the GM factory, a seemingly ordinary man makes the extraordinary decision to provide for his family by following his dream of becoming a professional bowler, based on the professional bowler Tom Smallwood's life.
Yeah. I think bowling's popular in the States, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen a bowling show before.
Yeah.
Bowling movie.
I reckon that can go a second season.
NBC's got That's My Jam, an hour-long music and comedy variety event series that draws its creative DNA from the Tonight Show's games, such as Wheel of Musical Impressions, Roots Name That Song, and Slay It, Don't Spray It. In each episode, two teams of celebrities compete for charity in a series of music and dance-based games, performative segments, and play-along trivia.
No.
Nope. Fox has Welcome to Flatch. In this half-hour mockumentary inspired by the BBC format, a documentary crew goes to a small town to study young adults and their current concerns. Their focus is the daily lives of cousins Kelly and Shrub Mallet and their idiosyncratic surroundings. We follow the cousins as they pursue their dreams, confront challenges, and fight each other for frozen pizza. These two don't have much, but they do have each other.
That sounds like a parody, so I'm saying no.
No. You've got The Wheel. Based on the BBC game show, the series will put viewers into a spin each week as celebrity guests attempt to help contestants win big with a 42-foot wide spinning wheel.
What? Is it Wheel of Fortune? What?
No.
Just a wheel?
Yes.
No.
I don't know.
No. Based on that, no.
Right. And the last one is The Wonder Years. The reboot is a coming-of-age story set in the late 1960s that takes a nostalgic look at black middle-class families in Montgomery, Alabama. Through the point of view of an imaginative 12-year-old Dean with the wisdom of his adult years, Dean's hopeful and humorous recollections show how his family found their wonder years in a turbulent time.
No.
Okay. That's it. That's the full list. So look forward to maybe hearing about some of those. I don't know.
I think I said yes to like
anything that's like an
4.
abbreviation of 3 or 4 letters. We'll definitely get over here. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Let's wrap up this episode with our top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
So this week, in honor of Chris Rock being in Spiral, I figured we'd go with top 3 comedy actors in dramatic roles. So Dylan, why don't you kick us off? I don't think necessarily Saw it's not a dramatic role, but it's obviously not a comedic role. Just to clarify, I guess.
Can I also just say quickly, because as you said, Spiral, it's so 21 Savage did a song for Spiral, and it's like literally the chorus is like Spiral, Spiral, like it's just like this full like trap hip hop song. It's so weird when it like plays in it. Anyways, just there you go. That's how weird that movie is. Top 3, right? So yeah, as usual, mine are in order.
Yeah.
Well, I had a good shortlist here. I had like how many on my shortlist? I had total 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 10. I had a full 10 before I narrowed it down to top 3. So
yeah.
This
okay.
compared to sometimes these are hard. Like the other week, I was like, man, this one I can't do this one. This one was struggle street. This one easy. So number 3, I've got Robin Williams, Good Will Hunting. That's I was trying to think of like the earliest movie I think I ever saw a comedian, like someone I thought of as a comedian, do a serious role, and that was Good Will Hunting. And also I think that's one of the more prominent, known, talked about examples of a comedian or someone who was known for being a comedian doing those sorts of roles. And it was sort of, it's a good one to point out as a like a good example of it, because of course Robin Williams won Best Supporting Actor for that as well. And it really is just this showcase of him being able to play a non-goofy, just very straight, lovable, caring professor character that tutors Matt Damon's character through and pushes him in certain directions. But he's just have you seen this film? You're going to say no, aren't you? Yeah, all right, shut.
Not if I don't say it.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm not fucking surprised by anything. But no, Robin Williams is great in that movie, and yeah, I remember watching this when I was, I don't know, it's probably like 12, 13, probably the first time I watched it, and of course I knew I'd only ever seen Robin Williams in comedy films at this point, so I'm thinking the guy from Jumanji's doing a non-funny movie, so it was quite a thing, and this is the earliest example I can think of in definitely from my life where I saw someone that I thought of as a comedian not doing a comedy role. He has some funny moments, but it's definitely a dramatic movie, of course.
Okay. My number 3, Jamie Foxx in Collateral. So prior to his run in Collateral, and I guess even before that, Any Given Sunday, being a stand-up comedian, he had his own sitcom, but then he did obviously Collateral against Tom Cruise. Amazing thriller film. And he even got Academy Award nominated, I believe. Yeah, nominated for Best Supporting Actor for his role as the taxi cab driver just trying to get home, but forced to work, help this hitman.
Hitman's driver. You know, the plot of that movie is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Like, it's just someone like driving
taxis?
around.
Crazy.
Yeah, no. They're going to do a remake where it's an Uber driver.
Yeah, definitely. You help me out or you don't get 5 stars. There's no choice. I think they actually did that. That was almost the same premise as that Kumail Nanjiani Batista movie, The Stuber.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I never watched it, but yeah. Trailer, I did see it. Yeah, I think that is basically the premise.
All right. Dylan, what's your number 2?
My number 2, Adam Sandler, Uncut Gems. How can you not look past?
I thought that was going to be number 1, to be honest.
No, yeah, I know. No, when I say my number 1, you'll be like, of course. I feel like this is the most obvious recent example of a comedian, and I think this is another standout example because Adam Sandler, out of a lot of comedians, was definitely an actor that people are just going to look at and go, Adam Sandler can only act as Adam Sandler in Adam Sandler movies, because that's kind of like what he had pigeonholed himself into. I think he had played around a little bit in what's the director of the Marriage Story and that sort of
Noah Baumbach. He was in the
like
Meyerowitz story.
Like he played around in a little bit of Noah Baumbach's films, like the Meyerowitz stories and that sort of stuff. But it still felt like Adam Sandler, just like more, he was trying, you could tell, and he's quite good in some of that stuff. But it wasn't until Uncut Gems that everyone was like, "Holy shit!" Like when he tries and he's under the direction of people who are willing to that put their faith in him as an actor and were able to push him in a certain direction. He's phenomenal in that movie, and he is a big part. Like he is a huge part of why that movie is as good as it is, and he is 100% that character, and he is phenomenal in it. And that I don't think we'll ever see him give that same sort of performance again because he didn't get Oscar nominated.
Because he's got to spite the rest of us.
yeah.
You know? He put out Punch Drunk Love, which apparently got a lot of love, and that didn't get any love. No. So then he gave us several years of spite for this. So you can only imagine what he's going to do to us now.
Yep.
My number 2, Olivia Colman, The Favourite. So Olivia Colman, primarily known for her comedy work prior to her run in Broadchurch, I believe. Yep. Appearing in like Peep Show and was in Hot Fuzz and that kind of stuff. And then she shows up in The Favourite playing Queen Elizabeth I.
I think it is. Yeah.
Queen Anne, sorry.
Oh.
It's freaking phenomenal. And has gone on to strength from there. She's fantastic in The Father. And pretty much everything she's done since The Favourite. So, but yeah, she's really, really great in this. Even though The Favourite, kind of like a dark comedy. It's still dark enough to be considered a drama, in my opinion. So, yeah, pretty great in that. So, yeah, Olivia Colman. So, Dylan, what's your number 1?
Bob Odenkirk, Better Call Saul. How's this not obvious? I reread your message in Slack. You never said it was had to be a movie.
I didn't say.
You said performance. So yeah, Bob Odenkirk was known as a comedian that for his his stand up and his variety show, which I'm mental blanking on the name of. I think it was just called the Bob and whatever show. You can find it quickly. But yeah, he was known as a comedian, and that was kind of why he was hired on Breaking Bad, because Vince Gilligan and I can't remember the person's I can't remember the dude who created the Saul Goodman character, but they hired him because of his comedy work, and they wanted the character of Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad to be a laugh out loud sort of character, sort of this really ridiculous stereotype on the TV lawyer, and he does a fantastic job in Breaking. Now, I've purposely picked Better Call Saul because, of course, character introduced in Breaking Bad. However, in Breaking Bad, for 90% of that role, he is mostly still just playing a sort of comedy relief for the most part. It's not until the end of that show that he has a few more dramatic moments, but he's never given anything hugely dramatic. Whereas Better Call Saul, it has been 100%, as far as I'm concerned, his shaping ground as an actor for Bob Odenkirk to fine-tooth that dramatic nail. And without him doing Better Call Saul, I don't think you would have him doing these movies like what the fuck was that one I watched a month ago?
Nobody.
That was called Nobody. You wouldn't have him doing that and all these sort of things. There is I did also have my list. It's I could have included Nebraska, but he's which is a dramatic role for him as well. And I even had for Nebraska Will Forte in that as well, because that was a movie where they just Will Forte and Bob Odenkirk play brothers, and they're both known as comedians, but that movie's a straight up drama. But yeah, he is the supporting actor in that, not the leading actor. So it's 100% Better Call Saul. It's my favorite TV show. It's my one of the best character pieces on TV that no one's watching, and he gives consistently one of my favorite performances every year. So as far as it was the first thing I wrote down. Of course it was. You
any excuse to put Bob Odenkirk on the list.
Yeah, basically.
Better Call Saul.
I'm a little bit of a fanboy. You say comedians turning dramatic performances. First thing I wrote down was
it's fine.
Bob Odenkirk. Done.
No. So he did Mr. Show with Bob and Dave.
That's it. Yep.
My number one, Jim Carrey for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Fantastic. I think, not surprising, Jim Carrey's obviously done a few different dramatic roles. Obviously, The Truman Show was the other one that comes to mind. That could have easily been on this list. But yeah, he's pretty fantastic as in Eternal Sunshine. And I love that movie as well, so that makes it a bit easier to pick. So, yeah.
Not what I thought you'd be number one pick.
What do you think? If you had to guess.
Just going to go straight for The Big Sick.
I don't think. I think that's enough of a comedy to be considered. You
reckon?
Yeah.
How about Ray Romano in The Big Sick?
Maybe. I feel like he's still pretty comedic in that. So
okay.
I
thought this was just going to be.
I think we'll have to do the opposite at some point. Do it the other way around.
Dramatics doing comedies or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So look forward to that. Let us know what your top 3 is of best comedic performers in dramatic roles. You can let us know on Twitter at explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. You can find all the Twitter handles there, or you can jump to a Discord at explosionnetwork.com/Discord. If you want to help us out, leave us a review on an Apple Podcast or a Podchaser or Twitter, or just tell your friends about the show and all the awesome stuff we talk about every single fortnight. If you like this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnetwork.com/support. Buy us a coffee. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.